So obviously this isn't my usual background, and I didn't bring my tripod or anything. So this is just me holding it. So don't mind my hand shaking. Let me see if I can figure out a way. Hold on. Let me get it with this hand. There we go. Yeah, so clearly y'all can tell where I'm at, where I've been. This is just a little update. Yeah. Obviously, I'm gonna tell y'all the real story, how everything went down. I just felt like, show y'all a little something first. I actually have just decided that I'm gonna make this a part 1 and a part 2 because it seems kind of long. And I know y'all don't be sitting through and watching these long videos. I know you don't. I don't. You don't have the attention span for it. So I'm not even gonna hold y'all to that. I'm gonna do a part 1 and I'm gonna do a part 2. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new. I'm Tay Mommy, Tay for short, and thank you for tuning into this video. Welcome to part 1 of the story time of childbirth. I don't know why I can't just get that to roll off the tongue like the way I wanted to, but yeah, this is part 1. Let's get into it. So in my last video, I shared, that I had the baby and we've been kicking it, we've been chilling for the past 6 weeks. Yeah. Obviously, it's time for me to spill the tea on what happened in labor and all that good stuff, because obviously, people want to know, girl, you had the baby, wait, you just gonna have the baby and I tell nobody, you just gonna dip off, blah, blah, blah. So basically what happened is, if you follow me on Instagram, at Tay Mommy, I've been posting. Yes, you've been seeing a nice baby bump. Yes. But I have not been pregnant. Yes. So basically what I did was I made a bunch of batch content so that way when the baby got here, I could take time off. But I didn't know that the baby was gonna come early. I didn't know he was coming. I didn't know that he was gonna come early. I didn't know that. And I had went to Memphis for my grandmother's funeral the last-ish week of December. And so I had just got back maybe that Thursday before I went into labor. And yeah, so I could see why my body was definitely probably tired, and the baby was like, girl, I'm tired of being up in here, I gotta come out. And so he did. It was December 31st. Well, actually, he was born on New Year's. Yeah, so I had a New Year's baby. And, most people will be like, oh, you didn't know you were going into labor? When I tell y'all, I had no idea that I was gonna go into labor that night. And usually I'm pretty good about these things. Right before I went into labor, I took a bite of a cookie. And then I was like, something don't feel right. And I was like, I hunched over and I was like, ooh. But they always say right before you go into labor that your body, the baby will stop moving as much. The baby, he or she, I guess, wherever you're having, he would move less than normal. And so me, I'm like, okay, I'm always thinking okay, yeah, that's how it's gonna go when you go into labor. Mind you, I have already been in labor before, and I should have known the telltale signs to being in labor, but I didn't see it coming this time. I really didn't. I had took a bite of my cookie, I was relaxing, and then I stood up and I was like, this don't feel right? And so I go to the bathroom, I'm sitting in the bathroom, I'm like, okay, yeah, no, this kind of hurts, I'm in pain, ow. And I'm sitting on the toilet and I'm just like, well, maybe it's not a real contraction, maybe it's a Braxton Hicks. Because, Braxton Hicks apparently in the later weeks of pregnancy come right before the regular ones, right? So it's pre-contractions basically. And so that's why I'm like, this doesn't hurt too bad. Maybe it's a pre-contraction. So I'm looking it up online. I'm like, okay, it says this, that, and the third about the Braxton Hicks. And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe if it's real contractions, what does it say about those on the internet? It says, time them when you think you're in real labor, because if you're really contracting, it will be a really tight pain, and then it steadily gets better. But then the next time you have it, it's gonna be a more intense pain, and then more intense, and then more intense, and then it's just gonna build up until you explode. you're not really gonna explode, you're gonna push the baby out, but it's basically the same thing, right? Right. And so I'm sitting on the toilet and I'm, oh, sorry if it's TMI. I mean, you did click on a story time of my birth story, so I figured you would be expecting a little details. But anyway, back to the story. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, cool. These are getting progressively worse and they're getting faster. So timing of the contraction comes into play. And so I'm looking at my clock and I'm like, okay, this one lasted for this amount of time. And then the next one came much faster and it lasted for maybe like 2 to 3 minutes. And I was just like really in like, how could I describe this? You know when you wringing out a towel and all the water, like you wring out the towel and the water comes out and then you can only wring it so much until the water stop, like the water's no longer in there because you didn't wrung it out so much. So imagine that, and then you got all the water out and then you just kept going and kept going and kept going. That's what it feels like when you're contracting. They came so fast. They were back to back to back, and he's here getting the boys ready. He's like, so are you in pain? Like, do you think you're in labor? And I was like, nah, I'm not in labor. Denial. I'm not in labor. I'm not in labor. He's like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and get the boys like ready so we can go to the hospital just in case. I'm like, nah, I don't need to go to the hospital. And then when I'm finally like, oh, you know what? Maybe we should go to the hospital. The boys are dressed. I don't have a hospital bag packed because I have been so unprepared this whole pregnancy. Everything has been so late. I've been so behind doing everything. My mind has been all over the place. And so I didn't have a hospital bag. He's trying to pack me a hospital bag while he's getting them ready, trying to get everything loaded up in the car. It's chaos because I'm crying. I'm on the toilet like, I don't want to be in labor. No. I have so much more to do than I wanted to do before I went into labor. I'm crying. He's trying to keep me calm. He's like, it's okay. Everything's going to be fine. It's going to work out the way it needs to be. He was being so great, so supportive of me. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. It hurts. Yeah, like it was just a great time. Happy New Year, right? So I'm on the toilet, I'm crying. He's trying to get everything together so we can go to the hospital. And he comes in the bathroom once he gets the majority of the stuff together, right? He says, stand up. Do you think you can make it to the hospital? I said, yeah, come on. Let's try to make it to the hospital. Thank you guys so much for watching part 1. Make sure y'all come back and watch part 2. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, I'll be right back. Come back!